Today I'm gonna share with you 10 extremely fresh, 10 extremely clean summer fragrances. If you're first time here, where have you been until today? My name is Mehdi, channel name is mehdiscent. I'm talking about fragrances and related stuff. Don't forget subscribe the channel to get notifications by my new uploads. I upload frequently. Let's see the fragrances. Before jumping on the main list, I have one honorable mention from House of Yves Saint Laurent, new Vieux Fresh 2020. So you can check out my full review on this fragrance as well. But in the brief, I have to say this fragrance is citrusy, gingery, fizzy, sour. Smells extremely clean, transparent, but on the skin you can get some rooty, muddy and earthy vibe. That's why, because of that dirty aspect, I didn't put this fragrance in the list. Let's see the main list. I want to start the list by House of Carven at number 10 spot, Carven Low Intense. It's refreshing my throat, it's cooling my throat. This is like bomb of mint, lavender, without being bubblegummy. This is very masculine type of lavendery minty fragrance. By hint of ginger and citruses at the background. Lavender and mint are dominated here. Very refreshing and extremely clean type of fragrance. This is one of the best performers in class of fresh fragrances in my collection. It is potent performer, but it is in the same time not daring, and it is extremely safe. So shares some similarities a little bit at the background by Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male. I feel it, I believe, because of the perfumer behind, Francis Kurkdjian. He never fails. Let's continue by a very clean house, House of Prada. Prada Luna Rossa. This is the regular one, not Carven, not other versions. The regular Luna Rossa. So this fragrance is also a lavender and mint based fragrance. Not that much citrus. It is on the herbal side, but it has not that refreshing, cooling the throat aspect to it like Carven Low Intense. Because I will say why. Because here notes are fresh, green, but here the notes are dried, like dried lavender, dried mint. Compared to the Low Intense, this fragrance is in the airy and transparent side. Like that fragrance, it is not intensely smelling. It smells very transparent and polite, and performance is average, like 5-6 hours by fair projection and airy projection for first hour. The very important factor of this fragrance is scent profile. Very unique, very outstanding. They will not forget you until last of their life. Signature scent worthy type of fragrance. Prada Luna Rossa. Let's continue by House of Thierry Mugler at number 8 spot. Very well known fragrance from this house, Mugler Cologne. It is not that complicated. It is neroli and vetiver based fragrance. Vetiver here is very soapy. Scent profile of this fragrance. Atmosphere is also soapy. It smells exactly like a bar of soap. Projection, sillage, longevity is also like a soap, near to your skin, and I can say not that intensely. Can stay on the clothing longer, like 8 hours. And a stance of this fragrance on the clothing are different by the scent profile of this fragrance on the skin. Can change on the skin, a bit woodier, on the clothing exactly soapy until last of life of the fragrance. Let's continue by House of Montblanc. Montblanc Individuel or Individual, another refreshing and extremely clean smelling fragrance. It is minty, it is clean but not soapy clean. It is minty, fruity and I can say sweet type of fragrance by hint of aquaticness at the background. So fruits here are not citruses. In the note breakdown they say raspberry, but to my nose is synthetically berryish vibe. It is not exactly like raspberry. Performance, projection, sillage, price, every single factor about this fragrance is 10 out of 10. 75 ml, around 20 bucks. Performance is like 7-8 hours. Projection is big for first hour, and girls like this fragrance so much. Montblanc Individuel. At number 6 spot, one of the best and most seller men's fragrances in the history of perfumery, Sir Acqua di Gio. Hands down. Still great, but not as great as before Acqua di Gio. I cannot get that brightness of old Acqua di Gio, but it's still great, it's still high class and refined type of fragrance. Scent profile is like aquatic, slightly floral and herbal. Citruses are here way at the background. It is not like citrusy aquatic. It's still a great fragrance, but performance is not as great as before batches. Like 3-4 hours I can get by this one. There is a lots of great alternatives for this fragrance. Some of them are cheaper, some of them last longer. but I don't believe they can compete any of them by this fragrance in terms of that refined scent profile. If you want better longevity, you can go by Acqua di Gio Profumo, but I didn't put it in the list because this list is clean and refreshing summer fragrances. That fragrance, Acqua di Gio Profumo, has incense note. At number 5 spot, a very great example for a clean fragrance from House of Dior, Dior Homme Cologne. This is very fizzy, citrusy, green and clean musky fragrance. You're gonna get fizzy citruses, extremely sour citruses, by hint of zestiness at the background, plus some green notes. I believe it is like cypress, freshly crushed cypress, and such a clean musk. This fragrance is extremely clean. When you sniff the atomizer, you feel okay, this fragrance is gonna last on me 1.5 hours something maximum, but it's not like that. This is very sticky, 8 hours type of fragrance by very average to poor projection. This is very great fragrance for close encounters. It's not like room filler, but near to your skin, near to your area, smells very fantastic. One of the most important heavy hitter fragrance houses in the game, House of Creed. We have from this house Silver Mountain Water. I can say all of the polite notes in the planet or in the universe is in this bottle. Very polite, transparent and inoffensive fragrance. It touched my soul. You can catch that bolt to your face, extremely natural black currant here. Smells a bit rotten, tea leaves, green tea leaves, citruses. Very unique fragrance. Scent profile is very unique. You can find a lots of great alternatives for this fragrance. Performance of them are better mostly, and scent profile is almost identical. You can find between 20 and 50 bucks great alternatives like Arm of Derby Club House Blanche, around 20 bucks for 100 ml, or I'll Be Someday by House of Versace, around 50 bucks. Both are very great alternatives for this fragrance. At number 3 spot from House of Versace, timeless masterpiece, Versace Prom, a very great fizzy, citrusy, aquatic fragrance. Reminds me of Chanel Allure Sport in that genre, more aquatic compared to that fragrance. I can say it is a very great alternative for that fragrance. I suggest you go buy 200 ml, which is way cheaper compared to 100 ml. It's around maximum 70 bucks for 200 ml, which is way cheaper compared to 50 bucks for 100 ml. Versace Pro. At number 2 spot from House of Dolce & Gabbana, one of the safest fragrances, hands down from this house, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Sun. You can catch that DNA, that backbone of line of light blue, but in a very safe and inoffensive and clean way. For example, there is not the salt or incense note which is available in the regular light blue, and there is not that extremely aquaticness which is available in light blue or intense. So at the middle has that backbone. So I can say in the brief, this fragrance has that uniqueness of the line of light blue in a very safe way, plus some citruses which is not available that much in other fragrances in the line. It smells exotic, citrusy because of that coconut note. It smells slightly creamy, also creamy, oily, I can say. Very outstanding and like vacation in the bottle, like holidays and Hawaii shirt smelling type of fragrance. Average performance like 5-6 hours. By good projection, I can say for this scent profile, for this airy and clean scent profile is good projection for first hour. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Sun. At the top of the list, number 1 spot in terms of being clean, sexy, complimentary, polite and safe. Again from House of Prada, Prada L'Eau. This is an iris based fragrance. It is clean, fresh, but not aquatic, not citrusy. This is very unique type of fragrance. This is floral, powdery and fresh type of fragrance. You can catch slightly spices in this fragrance, but in a very safe way, not like cumin, pepper. It is like cardamom, carrot seeds, very friendly and sweet type of spices. Performance is very good, 10-12 hours plus in terms of longevity, and projection is very big but cloudy, transparent, airy. Everybody can smell you in a very inoffensive way. In the class of safe summer fragrances, in terms of getting compliments, scent profile, performance, right now this one is the best in the market. Prada L'Eau. Let me know what is your thoughts on this list and what is your picks for fresh and clean summer fragrances. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, stay safe, see you in another video.